Hello and welcome to Note to File, a clinical research podcast, a collection of interviews, candid commentary, and general tomfoolery for the clinical research industry. Check us out at notetofilepodcast.com. Without further ado, on to the show. All right, guys, so welcome to another Note to File. This one's going to be particularly chaotic as we try to do a little bit of an SOS recap. I'm going to try to get all the founders up here in just a minute and sort of cycle through as many people as are willing to come on and kind of talk about their experience and hopefully get, some feedback, good, bad, ugly. Before we start, say what's up to my co-host, Denali. What's up, D-Rose?
Hey, happy to be here. Also put out there for anyone in the audience, if y'all want to jump on the live stream, shoot me a DM on LinkedIn and I'll get you the link and we'll pull you on. Like Brad said, it's going to be chaos today, so join the fun.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. Let's see who we have back there. Chris.
Hello.
What's up, Chris? You're the only... Oh, is Judy back there?
I don't know.
Can Judy actually talk, though? Or is she just on her phone? I'm going to try her. I'm going to put her on the spot. I don't know if you can hear us, Judy.
Hello, everyone.
How's it going? Perfect. Okay. Well, before we start going to the audience, quick hot takes. Chris, how did you feel? Feel like we lived up to what we wanted? Anything you hated? I feel like there's been I saw a lot of stuff on LinkedIn, although we kind of live in that little echo chamber of the people who went. So, it probably makes sense why we saw it, but what are your thoughts?
So I do not nearly have as much feedback as you do. I don't go to LinkedIn.
Yeah. Smart.
Is it? So all I really heard was complimentary statements at the conference. However, you know how that goes. No one wants to be rude. Except for Wisconsin there. So
gotta keep you in line, Chris.
That's right. So it's hard to gauge whether or not it was successful. It surely felt like it was successful. Again, lots of compliments. I don't know. I guess LinkedIn is a little bit, well, even there you're kind of known, so maybe you're not free to say what you really thought. But going off of what I heard, what anecdotal evidence I have, it seems to be a great success.
Fair. Yeah. I guess to your point, most people aren't going to come up and tell you everything they hated about it, but that's also why I did this. I kind of want to hear, any even negative feedback. So, hey, Monica.
Hi. Well,
going?
Good. How about you guys?
I think I'm still recovering, honestly.
That's for sure. I'm still tired.
Yeah, me too.
Well, what about you,
Still
Monica?
recovering.
Your hot takes. How do you feel less than a week after?
Well, so what I have been listening or the emails, it seems that it was an extreme success. There are very few things that people have been mentioning that they would like to see, but at the end of the day, there are some things that people ask for some things and then somebody else like what the other people didn't like. So it's like we were talking before, it's kind of hard sometimes to please everybody, but we try our very best to deliver the best possible conference.
Sure. Yeah. And to that point, I don't think you're never going to make everybody happy, and it's okay. I honestly, I don't know that that's what we want either necessarily, right? I feel like
Exactly.
We have a different vibe that's very unique to what we're trying to do, and that's not going to be for everybody necessarily.
Well, that's
exactly.
So I'm going to say the same word twice. Let's be honest here. If we're espousing honesty, it's going to upset some people.
Fair.
Always, right?
Fair. No, I don't disagree. Judy, I don't know if you're in a place where you can talk, but feel free to give your hot take if you want. I guess she's busy, so that's okay. I'm going to keep her up here in case she wants to jump in. But okay, well, let's start cycling through here. We got a few people backstage, so I want to give everybody at least a few minutes to kind of come up. So be ready if you're backstage. All right.
Hello.
Hey, man, introduce yourself and, let's hear what you got.
Well, I'm Ashish Sani. I'm the founder and CEO of Twin Street. We are a technology provider. Um, what else you'd like to know? I've been writing code, building systems for over a couple of decades, right? Primarily in the Silicon Valley. I worked for companies large and small. I worked for Sun Microsystems, eBay, Apple. I've done projects for General Electric,
Nice.
Target, Visa, Amazon, Southwest. So
Fair. Nope, that's
So,
good.
when were you at SOS? Were you there the whole time? Just a couple of days? How long were you
oh
there?
no, I was there. I think I was one of the longest. I was there Wednesday night through Sunday. Yeah.
Okay, you were there for the long haul then.
Yeah.
Thank
and it was
you.
absolutely, and it was a pleasure. It was fantastic.
Any specific, like, what jumped out as being, something you particularly enjoyed, and more interestingly, maybe something you didn't like so much?
I think first and foremost, it was the networking opportunity. It was great to meet with the people, right? Everybody I met was accessible, was open to talking. So that's the one thing that you miss in, let's say, really big conferences. We're willing to talk about each other's needs, problems, and how we can collaborate. And I'm not just talking about customer vendor relationship. I talked to a lot of other vendors as well, right? Everybody was accessible, so that was fantastic. I think the speakers were great. The content was great. I got to learn a few things, about SOPs, clinical trials, regulations, patient centricity. Um, yeah, I think food was fantastic. I love the food.
That's good. I think there were some mixed reviews. Some mixed reviews on the food. I thought it was
Well,
actually pretty damn good too. I was surprised. I was like,
maybe
okay.
maybe I'm not as picky, but
No, but now that you mentioned that, I hear that so many times that people were giving us, good feedback on the food, that the majority of the conference don't have good food, and we had very good food.
Well, if I recall last year, it was that we didn't have any like hot breakfast options, right? And then I think this year we did, right? We actually had some legit
Exactly.
hot breakfast. So taking that feedback, What's up, Svera? Rocking the Oklahoma hoodie.
How's it going? Yeah, thank you for the hoodie, man. It's like the last thing I
course.
can wear it here in Yuma before it gets hot.
Yeah, just squeeze it in. Yeah, we're just kind of doing hot takes, bringing people on and off stage, kind of talk about the show. Ashish, anything you didn't love particularly, or it's something you'd work on? I want to hear. Come on, beat us up a little bit, man.
So
yeah, go ahead, Ashish.
well, I guess it's more of a pet peeve. I didn't have a direct connecting flight from San Francisco. Sorry.
Yeah.
I mean, I think once you guys have the tallest tower at 1,907 feet, I'm sure there'll be direct flights and it'll be fine.
There's no way that's going to happen. You saw the wind here.
Well,
I know they approved it, but I feel like it's just a little bit of a press, just for the press. They're not going to build that big ass tower.
You don't think so?
No. I just think they're trying to get some press coverage. Anybody who doesn't know, Oklahoma City apparently has gotten the approval to build the tallest skyscraper in North America, or in the US at the very least, which makes no sense at all. Why would you do that? There's not enough people to put in that thing.
The highest tower is Brad.
Yeah, okay, I'll take that.
It's high tower research.
That's right. That's right.
One more feedback, if I could
Sure.
give you, is I think the sessions were great, but I think the set was a large room and a large audience, and it was a one-way conversation. If you guys could organize smaller settings where it could be, what's the right word, more personal, more intimate settings, where you could, communicate about maybe specific topics or whatever, I think that would help.
Fair. Yeah.
That would add value.
Yeah, that makes sense. Again, that's a tough one, I think, in some ways, because I think last year we did do the breakouts that were a little more stilted and smaller. And I don't know, part of me likes the concept of having just like one track with one place to go. But in some ways, they can take away from the sort of more intimate setup. Because I hate going to conferences where there's 6 tracks and you're like, what do I even go to? You know, you can probably find somewhere in between those two. But no, dude, appreciate the feedback. I want to keep cycling through people. Anything else before I boot you off?
No,
Yeah.
shout out to Dan. I loved being on the panel. Thank you very much. You did a great job.
Thank you, man.
Thank you, Ashish.
All right,
This is
Ashish,
great.
take it easy, man. Thanks for coming. Sfera, you came in a little late. Any hot takes that want to throw in?
Hot takes. I already shared studies with a bunch of people. Well, like 4 since I've been back. So we're already boosting the site pipeline. This is really what we made the conference for, like practical solutions for sites. So, I have to podcast when I'm there, and I don't actually get to be an attendee like 100% of the time, like maybe 5% of the time. But it's actually nice to be a site owner and just share resources.
Well, we've seen, I'm sure you guys have seen emails and messages, like people are kind of taking some of the concepts and trying to run with them of building more, community around the sites, which I think is awesome because, I think we've all tried different things, but for the community to take it up amongst themselves and try to start putting things together is really, really cool.
And the craziest thing is, like, I've been sharing leads with this one lady, and she didn't even go, but she like kind of hijacked the momentum because she had like friends that went, and so she's benefiting also, even though she's not going, which is kind of cool. I don't think other
Gotcha.
conferences you get that same value add even for people that didn't go. So there's probably something here that we can leverage going forward.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I think that's my favorite part of the conference, that everybody's willing to collaborate and help each other. So like a true community. That's probably my favorite thing about it.
The free drinks was pretty awesome too.
Yeah, it's hard to beat that.
We saw inflation at work, true inflation at work, when I came home with a pocket full of tickets that were worthless.
Right? Me too. I didn't use it.
It's like, we're never going to spend all these.
The cocktails were absolutely delicious.
Wait, did anyone actually use their tickets for non-drinks? Like, they were supposedly good for anything in the hotel, but I didn't know that.
I know some people did.
Damn, I knew I should have paid for that steak dinner with the tickets.
Dinner. I think that's pretty good. All right, hey Judy, see you. Good to see you on here. What about you? I'm sorry you got skipped earlier, but you got any hot takes you want to throw out before I bring up someone else?
No, I think it was a great conference. You guys said everything that I think needs to be said. A lot of positive comments, some good feedback on things to improve, which obviously, every year you want to get better and do things differently. But no, I had a good time. I think everyone did. So I'm thankful that it went as well as it did. It was a lot of work that went into it, right? So it's nice to hear the comments.
For sure. Cool. All right, I'm going to jump in the next person here, Faiz. I know you're not on video, Faiz. Oh, there you are. Hey, man.
Hey, everyone. How are y'all doing?
Good. Thank you. Digital Auxilius was a sponsor, so appreciate you doing that, man. It's good to see you again.
Yes, good to see you all too. I think it was a great conference. There's a lot of different elements to it. Generally, you go to a conferences are too big. There's way too many people. A lot of times when I'm trying to reach out to people, even I forget, okay, like, was this person who was here at my booth? I think this time, like, I know exactly who came on the booth, and a lot of people needed the services. One thing, some of the sessions that you guys were doing, there's a lot of feedback I have on those. I'll stick to only 2 things that I really know, which is AI and social media. So for the AI part, I didn't think that we got a lot of substance from AI because there's not much AI that can be used at sites at the moment. And I was talking to one of the vendors, and basically, so we provide other kinds of support to other sites and networks, like, patient recruitment and others. So when they were giving us the proposal that, hey, there's AI you can use, and we got to pricing. So right now, the cost of AI is so much more that it is nearly impossible for sites to adapt some of these programs where, like, having a human would be cheaper for them. But there are a lot of good AI out there. I think something that you guys probably missed, there's a lot of AI that can be used for social media. There's designs.ai and others that you can create your logos with free of cost. You can create social media posts and you can automate. So like it just creates a post, pushes it out. Some are like, note-taking ones that can be used for the sites that I believe a lot of people should be using, like Otter AI is there, Fireflies and others. A lot of them are free of cost that can be used. A lot of task management are coming up with a lot of AI, like, there's Trello, ClickUp and others. Apart from that, there are a lot of chatbots that you can use that can just respond to people. There's a very, very cool one that I just implemented somewhere, and it's very new and it's very cheap. It's called My AI Front Desk. If you can't take the messages, you can create workflows, and it's very cheap, like maybe $16-20 a month, I guess. And that can just take the call and redirect wherever that needs to be. So I think that kind of substance could have helped sites a lot, and I hope that this gets to people now.
Sure. Good. No, good feedback.
Yes. And then social media, I think there's a lot of stuff that can be done on social media, and they touched on a lot of points. One thing I disagreed with, I think somebody mentioned that only run the ads from 9 to 5 when you can call them. I absolutely disagree with that. I couldn't speak up during that time, but because there's a lot of times people are going to be at work. Majority of the ads that I've seen, you get responses late at night after 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, or whatever. So it's very tough if you are not even running an ad at that time. You're going to lose out on so many patients. You can always follow up with them or have chatbots or others that can respond. I think that's something that.
Yeah, I think that I mean, I was talking to someone about that too. I think that almost like begs a whole bunch of other questions about you as a site too. Like, if you have people to manage it, if these people can't be reached until after 5, are they going to be able to come to your site? Does your site stay open after 5? There's a lot of things to consider. I don't disagree though. Like, I don't know why you would not want to take in more leads than you could, but I think it does get potentially complicated as a site, because then if you're not able to follow up or whatever the case may be, that can be challenging. But yeah, I don't disagree. Also, if you're trying to get in backstage on the show, apparently I didn't realize I can only have 10 people backstage. So apologies for people who are trying to get in. But
I think what we'll do is, as folks come and talk, we'll just kind of have you on and then remove you from the studio. So
yeah, you might, if you get kicked off, it's nothing personal, guys. We just only have 10 backstage seats. Awesome. Faiz, what else you got? Anything else before I boot you?
One thing also that I guess you guys can think about is that not all sessions are for everyone. So I didn't attend everything. So sometimes what some other conferences do better is that they would have different categories of business development and marketing and regulatory, and kind of move people accordingly. So hopefully, as you have more speakers and more sessions, you can do smaller sessions, more intimate. People can talk and have that conversation, and it's only relevant people that are attending within the companies.
Fair. And I mean, even I have mixed feelings about that, because my thing too is like, look, how much value do I get not being in a session? That's a lot. It's in networking and being outside the session. It's okay to not go to every session. And yeah, I get your point.
It gives you an opportunity to go visit the booths.
Yeah. Or just fuck around, have a drink, whatever,
I agree in a way, but we created it for site owners. So in theory, like, every topic should be of interest to every site owner. Like, that's the main focus of the core audience, right? And then of course there's other people that are not site owners that join that won't be interested in everything, but we carefully curate the topics. So I think for site owners, everything should or would interest them. But yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where we can't please everyone, and we've tried different things. And last year we got feedback, oh, I wish I didn't have to choose which ones to pick. And then we did it this way this year, and now people are saying, oh, well, I want to choose again. So, we got to keep going back and forth. But the core audience is the site owner. I think that's very important to emphasize.
I don't know. I kind of like the idea. Like, we don't have to do it the same way every time. It can be different, depending on, what we're leaning into. All right, Fees, thank you for coming on, man. And see ya. All right.
One of these days we'll do it in the metaverse.
That's right. All right. Let's bring up Dan. Dan Shell, what's up, man?
How are you guys? Dan, looking good, buddy.
Man, I love it.
All right.
Oh, Razorbacks, though.
Yeah.
Oh, my phone's too small. I just see red. It's not.
That's all right. We're both wearing hoodies.
That's the wrong U of A, man.
No. It's the right one. Yeah, go Hogs.
Yep.
Hey,
Corliss Williamson.
what I'll say is, every conference is what you make of it. And I think the people, like Chris was saying, you're not going to make everybody happy. At a conference this size, if you didn't meet someone or make a good connection, you weren't trying hard enough, and so I think that's the huge advantage here. I was messaging with Ashley yesterday, and I was giving her some operational suggestions, that were very similar to the Clinical Leader Lives that I run. Number one was any of the panels that have 5 people on them, I think is too many. That's personally my opinion, because 5 people plus the moderator, a lot of times all those people don't get to say everything they want to say. And let's face it, I've told everybody since last year's that this is a conference that as an audience member, you have the opportunity to be engaged. And this year it was even more so because you put those microphones out there, and I was sitting right next to one, and people were lining up like 10 minutes into a session. Now, that could be a problem. You might want to tell people like, hey, calm down, sit in your seats for a little bit, and let these people on stage get out what they want to get out. But, those are the things that you work through. So I really like, the engagement, the opportunities, but some of the panels a bit big. I love having the microphones there. One thing about microphones, and Brad knows this about me, I'm a musician. I tell anybody, you got to eat the mic, man. And so many people were like, and you'd hear them a little bit here and there. You got to train them up or put headsets on them or something, Monica, you did a great job on your panel. You kept telling the one guy next to you, no, move it closer,
Thank you.
So,
But I totally agree with you, because I thought that in the front everybody could hear it, but probably not in the back.
Right.
So that was probably my main thing. And I told, I think Judy and Ashley, that for next year we need to have the headsets 100%, because not everybody knows how to use it. And then sometimes you can get nervous and forget about it. Or, it's not everybody's expertise. So the best thing to do to assist the speakers is to have the headset.
Right.
Yeah, I think the mics up front, I guess, are a sort of a double-edged sword. I think in some ways we all like and invite the idea of like the engagement as much as possible. You run the risk, obviously, of like getting sidelined or way off topic, or not really fully addressing the topic you intended to. So again, you kind of have, just a tough balance if you're not like moderating pretty hard,
So a simple solution to that, Brad, is chew them out and yell at them if they're not doing as they were told. Simple solution.
Perfect.
I'm going to say, though, I much prefer not having people who don't know how to use a mic, or people who have opinions and questions, rather than having like professional speakers just like saying the same shit we always hear. So I think maybe it's a small problem to have, but I'd much rather have that problem than just the same old bullshit.
Yeah, when the alternative is like the same, like 4 people being asked the same question and they all agree with each other, that's not particularly engaging or fun. So I'd like to think I saw at least a little bit of disagreement, I think, in pretty much every panel I sat in and watched, which I thought was good, right?
Got to keep it spicy.
But not pre-scripted. No one agrees on everything in real life. That's ridiculous.
I agree with that.
All of a sudden, you get on stage, everyone sings the same song, "Kumbaya," and that's not the way it works in real life.
Brad, why didn't you bring your guitar?
Could have literally sang "Kumbaya."
In my mind, we were like doing something similar to what we're doing right here, but with people live. So that was essentially what on my mind, the purpose that we had to giving everybody the opportunity to chat.
Yeah, I agree. I felt like, not unlike what we're doing here, same concept with more people who can stand up and do it and, be a bigger part of the conversation. So what else you got? What else you got, Dan?
The other thing I would say is I hate bios. Okay. Like, I can see who you are and where you're from. If you're on that panel, I should know you're someone important. So don't ask them to explain who they are, because they go too long and it wastes too much time, and we have very limited amount of time in those sessions. So On my live events, I tell them, listen, I'm not going to even read your bio. People can go look at you at LinkedIn, And the only other thing I would say is, I don't even know how you do this. It kind of goes to what Chris said, where as the moderator, you kind of need to give those people a little guidance. But every session, I think we can think about this. Every session had a dominant personality on it, right? Like I called out Darshan the one time because I was tired of hearing from Darshan. Don't get me wrong, I love Darshan. He says tons of great stuff. But I mean, all I was hearing was Darshan, and then Edie did the same thing, and Cameron was a really loud voice on hers, and so I think as the moderator, you're going to have to start shutting people down, and that's a difficult thing to do. I get it, I really do. But that's one of those things that, when you're planning it out, kind of think about that. If you may not know that this person's going to get on stage and be like, here's what I have to say, so.
Well, I think, again, that's another thing that's tough to balance, because you're like, you want that some people are going to help carry a little bit, but again, not to your point, dominating the whole thing. And again, you don't know, are people going to ask questions? Do I need somebody to fill up some of this time with talking? So it's tough to be dynamic and sort of read that.
How about we put everyone who's like that on one panel and just see it really pop off?
There. That's going to get you that interaction that you wanted. Yeah, for sure. Like a Jerry Springer SOS. So, yeah.
Royal Rumble, WWE, who's the last one left?
Well, that panel will never end. It's still going on to this day.
So speaking of that, I'm done. Kick me off. Let somebody else come on. Thanks a lot.
Dan, thank you so much. I love
Dan.
those
Thanks,
feedbacks.
Take it easy. All right, very good. Next up, David, who's on my panel. What's up, man?
Hey guys, I'm doing well. How are you guys doing?
Man, I still haven't recovered.
Yeah, I feel pretty good right now. So just taking a couple of steps from the few people prior to me, I can kind of jump through really quickly a couple of the things that I found were really valuable, a couple of things that I think could be improved, some opportunities that you guys have to improve. I first want to start out, and I'm not saying this insincerely, but I've spent a good amount of time doing entrepreneurship, sales, business development. So I'm no stranger to conferences. I've probably been to maybe 70 to 100 in the last 20, 25 years. I'd have to say, like, this SOS conference was the most impactful, valuable conference that I've been to that I can specifically remember. And I'm not saying that to just make you guys smile. Although if it does, I'd love that.
Hey, do I have your right Venmo when I sent that money 5 minutes ago?
The Venmo? And actually, this is completely a side topic, but I'm a big believer in not making it easy to do things that you don't want to do, like spending money unnecessarily. So I don't use Venmo. Sorry about that, but here's this is why I think it was, very important. I mean, part of it is, I'm no stranger to it, and I've been getting better at extracting value from conferences over this time. But I don't think that there is really anything like SOS inside the market right now. Like SCRS, which I love SCRS, but it's very much geared towards larger site networks that have that back office business capability. And what I find a lot within SOS is, like, you've got a lot of people there that are complete experts with one piece of their business, but they are completely, I don't want to say clueless to insult them, but they know the bare minimum to get by in the other areas. And so when you take a conference like this, not only is the content extraordinary, right? Because, you can probably get most of that content by looking at Clinical Trial Guru and Note to File and just reviewing, dozens of days worth of, or weeks or months worth of content nonstop. But it's curated in such a way that if there's something that you're likely to be struggling with, there's probably a session there, and there's 5 experts on a panel that are willing to talk to you directly. And not only that, but here's the other piece of a conference. It's the fact that it's like the watering hole for all of these people that can help you. And so you've got a bunch of people that can help you that aren't worried about being in this corporate environment where they don't want to share trade secrets because they're part of this site network and everyone's competing with them. But you have actual people who are, who are willing to help people out. And then on top of that, the social events, that's a great way to break the ice with those people so that it's easier to put pen to paper, and it's easier to get things going. And since I see Ashley here, I'm going to say my criticisms are the fact that Ashley told me that there was going to be cigar rolling. Seen that in Miami quite a few times. I'm like, this looks really cool.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I was a little bit sad too, but all that dusty wind, to push it over. Brad did promise that we weren't going to have bad weather.
I promised we wouldn't have a tornado.
That's
We
true.
didn't
That's
have
true.
any
I
tor-
was
we
like,
didn't have any
I was like,
tornadoes. It was just
I think you had
rain.
them after we left, right?
I was praying
Right.
so hard we weren't going to get a tornado.
But even with that storm, we continue, and it went kind of unnoticed.
Yeah,
So
we actually got a response, a personal email sent over stating that even the storm couldn't like hold down the party. Yeah, so I thought that was pretty nice. It's pretty cool. But yes, I did tell David, the rest of the team, that the next one, we'll definitely try our best to make that happen if it's possible.
we're gonna make it happen, David. Don't worry. Next one, bigger and better.
And I guess this is kind of another item, but I think that, like Brad, you were in bands as well, so you probably know the importance of the monitor speakers, right? And I don't, maybe it's my ears or something, but I had, there was a lot of difficulty getting feedback from whether I was too close to the mic, too like not close enough to the mic. I think a lot of that could have been solved by, by having a monitor speaker. And I don't know, maybe there were some, but I couldn't really tell from where I was sitting. So yeah, but great conference.
That seems to be definitely a recurring issue. Some of the AV stuff, or I guess really just the audio. So it's good to know, and something we can definitely keep into.
Yeah, no, I
account.
think next year it should be just the headset.
That's it. Mm-hmm.
That's it.
I had no issues once I started, using that, and it was also awesome because you could just turn it off and turn it on when you'd like, and when it was on, you can actually hear a good feedback within the actual earphone. So that's definitely something we'll do next time.
Very good. All right. Thanks, Dave. Anything else before I boot you?
No, go ahead, boot away.
All right, man. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you.
I think we got one more backstage. Alec, I see you there. Before I bring you on, I know Ashley came a little late. Anything you want to share, just in terms of quick takeaways?
Yeah, it was great. I really loved it. I personally loved this year that we had less of the main moderators, which was me and Raul. I think that getting straight to the point and moving people in was really nice, and it also removed the stress on our end, right? So I felt that was good, and I do hope that we get some feedback on that, if people actually like that, or if they want more of that. Hopefully next year we can maybe have somebody new. I know that Denchel offered. I know he was here on a little while ago, but maybe do somebody different. Of course, somebody that keeps the vibe going, right? But yeah, I loved it. I had a great time, and it's always fun being able to see all you guys and hang out in person. So I was happy about that. Kind of missed you guys already, but
Me too.
And there's going to be plenty more, it sounds like. So,
Yeah.
Alec, what's up, man?
Hey, Alec.
Hey, guys.
Sorry, I didn't give you any warning.
How's it going? Yeah, everybody stole my thunder. Everything I was going to say, everybody else said. I will say that the time in between the sessions for me personally, because I've been to a lot of conferences, but I was back in my device days. So the cardiac conferences, ACC, HFSA, big corporate. And I think I was having a discussion with Monica and Ashley about, some other people. This was not like a corporate shill conference. And me personally, I got the most out of the time in between the sessions, although I did enjoy all the sessions. I probably ate the mic a couple times. I probably had it too far. I did happen to drop the mic Um, I do feel that it was a little personal earlier. They were saying people who dominate conversations. I don't know if Dan was talking about me.
Surely not.
No,
Surely
no,
not.
no.
Kind of like that guy with the CRO. No, I'm just kidding. I will say from a CRO perspective, because I think besides Mulaney and a few other people, it was minimal CRO attendance. It's good to see and hear from the sites directly. We think we know the site's pain points, but as I'm sitting here in my room, I can turn my Fortria computers right there. We think we know the pain points, but then when you hear them, I think one lady was very passionate about, I don't know if it was SOPs and certainly budget talks. You're like, wow, it just brings it home. Like in my previous life, when you're in a cath lab or a hybrid lab or an OR, there's a patient you can see under the sheet. You know, that could be your grandma getting a pacemaker. That could be your brother. It could be your sister. So this way, I think somewhat the CROs are even more removed from the site's pain points than the sponsors, with the exception of the monitors. Of course, when I was a CRA, I was on site all the time. But I think as a project manager, as a CTM, I think this is the type of conference that Fortria and IQVIA and PPD and the big guys really should send their people. Director of business development, you know, you're doing these bid defenses, you're doing these, requests for proposals, you're doing all these things. They should be speaking to you guys. They should be speaking to Brad, Dan, and all of you, everybody who is a site owner. Here's what we're really going through. The biggest thing that I heard at the conference and that I see every day is that site overhead, that line item at the bottom. It's separated from the budget, and people are pushing back. And it's like, well, how do we know what the site is spending in Phoenix, in New York, in Tokyo, in Argentina, in Rio? So I think for me personally, I'm going to be a little bit better at my job just from spending a couple of days out there, because I got to actually hear the real pain points, right from the horse's mouth, as opposed to just, who decides fair market value, who sets up these guidelines. I get these guidelines with every study: fair market low, fair market medium, fair market high, but who decides that really? And I think that process should be more collegial. Not that I want more big government running everything, but I think maybe some sort of organization or some sort of like the SOS conference would be beneficial. Maybe even a breakout session, having some of those big sponsors, Merck, Pfizer, all of these people. I assume it's some, large entity that we don't see that decides what's fair market high. So I as you could tell when I was there, I was very unexcited. I'm not enthusiastic. I'm very introverted.
Your energy was super contagious, Alex, and I'm really sorry we didn't get a photo. Honestly, when you said that, I was just like, "Oh man, I don't think
I was just kidding. I didn't do. I stole I took the pictures. They were like, "Hey, Jimmy Olsen, take this picture." Like, we don't want your stupid face in the picture, but just take it for us. And then they took pity on me afterwards. So that's where you see those few pictures with some of the real clinical research influencers.
So I actually have a question now. Like, this is something that we definitely aspire to. We want to bring. I know in the beginning everybody thought, it was going to be a group of sites just coming together to nag and complain. Obviously, that is not the case. But we do find that it's not as easy as we thought it would be to, ensure that sponsors and CROs are present. We're very grateful that, Takeda, Eli Lilly, AbbVie, and a few others did come out. But most of those have to do with prior connections and or relationships that were already built. So if we were to reach out to CROs and sponsors, especially the bigger corporates, like you mentioned, like Merck, et cetera, is there anything in particular that you would recommend in regards to how we approach them? Like, is there content or information that we should provide up front that would tickle their fancy, so to say, so that they would actually be interested in attending?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, let alone sponsor it. I mean, we'd love for them to sponsor, but again, we just want them to really be present.
I think that the video footage, I mean, you guys are all professionals. I don't know if that's Denali or whoever's behind the professional looking videos and everything else. I would definitely highlight that budget talk. And I know, like, I think specifically the SOP panel and the budget talk, where they were hotly contested. The CROs need to see that, because, and I think I was maybe talking Denali and Brad, AI is going to shrink the CROs. It's not going to, I don't think we're going to have Skynet, blowing up the world anytime soon, but I do feel like there are a lot of tasks that will be offloaded that will reduce in the US the number of positions for CROs. So I think they need to see, well, what pain points can we address proactively to win bids from the sponsors? In my opinion, it's a big mistake that there weren't more people there from IQVIA, PPD, Icon, my company. I think it was a huge mistake because, or sorry, a missed opportunity, because you will now see right now, most sites are just an email address. Oh, this is the regulatory coordinator. Now the site is, now you've been selected. This is the actual primary coordinator. You'll never talk to the PI, obviously, because they're busy doctoring and saving people's lives. So understandable. But you'll have a regulatory person, then CTA and budget is negotiated, then they're gone. So, long answer to a short question, I think footage from SOS would really be very impactful. And I'm trying to think, even just from Fortrea, who you need to reach. Like myself, I met Hadi. Every single day for the next 30 days, I'm going to promote that Men-Asa. I want to pronounce it correctly, Summit. I'm going. And I'm going to promote it every day. The same thing I do with my book. I'm like, Tony Horton, P90X, you're going to see me 12 times a day. And I think that's what needs to be done with Save Our Sites, because it's different, but it matters. Like we all talk about, myself included, the dynamic landscape, the this and the that, but it really is going to change. AI is going to change every 3 months. Emerging technology is going to change every 3 months. And I think the CROs are in the most danger. Sponsors create products and drugs and devices, sites test them. What do? We're middlemen. I'm playing telephone. Oh, what did you say? Okay, well, now I'm going to tell you. We go back and forth. So I feel the CRO, the existence is at the most risk with the changes and the dynamic climate. So to me, it's just
shout out to IQVIA for sponsoring, and we welcome more CROs to sponsor next year. Yes. Or just come. But IQVIA has been the one sponsoring 2 years in a row. So I think
they're leading the way on a lot of fronts. You're not the first person to mention that they were. I think they're adopting AI. They have more guidance. Like we're seeing it now at Fortrea, but I definitely don't believe that we are fast. We're not early adopters. I don't even think we're fast followers. We're like slow catcher-uppers.
And I think it's you got next year, man. You can do the Fortrea with sponsor SOS next year.
I'd like to know who to even tell you to hit. I know that I was at IQVIA and some of the other places. They have like events planners, and I think that's a good way to start. But you guys all have connections. I would hit for me personally, I would do it at Fortrea. I wouldn't leave it to somebody else. And I think if you have those connections in Icon, IQVIA, you already have. Same with the sponsors. You have Takeda. Maybe have the sponsors tap the other sponsors, because I think it is a missed opportunity not only to sponsor the conference, but to attend. Because like I said, my biggest takeaway, if I was going to sell anybody on this, is the time between the panels. Go to the panels, use your Firefly app, transcribe what you hear, study that when you get home, but go talk to people. The conversations I've had, I'm already better. Like I can tell you, just being home 2 or 3 days and working, I've already done stuff a little bit better. I've looked at requests from sites that were escalated up to me as a startup PM in a different manner, after hearing you guys speak and really kind of getting, right from the horse's mouth, here's what we're actually dealing with. It's not what you think it is. This is actually what it is.
And hopefully we can create a little bit of FOMO amongst the other CROs and sponsors from the ones that did come and are getting some value out of it. So all right, Alec, I'm booting you off, man. I got one more person backstage.
Thanks, Alec.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate
you. Thanks for coming. It was so nice to meet you, man.
Thank you. We're gonna snippet this part where he gave that response so that we can use that recording too.
Take it. All right, we got one more backstage, and I'm calling it after this. Hey, Taya, how are you?
Hey, good. Hi. It was so nice to meet everyone in person. It was a really great conference. I think I had a couple of feedbacks that you already had addressed, like the panel idea. I loved it, but then I also was thinking in my head, like, why don't they have more speakers, like just a speaker? But now I understand you are trying to do something more collaborative, and I appreciate that. But something else I was thinking about too is, all the changes that have been going on with FDA and NIH, and how is that impacting the sites? Like, I would have loved to have heard from someone from NIH or FDA that had more insight into what that was going to look like. And, I did have a chance to talk to Hadi outside of the conference, and he had a lot of really interesting feedback on the diversity changes. And I didn't hear the word diversity very much. I know it's changing. So, but like more, I guess we're saying patient access now. So, kind of would have liked to have heard a little bit more about that and how are sites adapting to that. But overall, I really loved it. So thank you.
Yeah, that's fair. And I think I don't know, we were pretty early set with a lot of the panel topics, I think, which I guess the one nice thing is though, like we can be agile. So it's something maybe in the future we can try to like roll with. But I know it's it's hard. It's harder than you think, I think, to like get all your panelists together.
Yeah.
Kind of get a broad idea of where you're going. And then it's like, well shit, stuff's already changed like in the world, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know. That's tough, but no, I think that is good. That is good feedback.
Yeah. And I actually wanted to add something to that. I think we try to design the sessions and breakouts to incorporate that with specifically focusing 100% on that, if that makes sense. But definitely good feedback. Thank you.
Sure.
Yeah, thank you.
I think the challenge is like you're preaching to the choir with this crowd. As far as diversity is concerned, I mean, I was told on my flight back home, 2 people sat behind me, and they were like, "We're all culturally competent." Like, I would have preferred something else. So it's hard to like give that message unless it's just like embedded into everything, as Judy was saying, as is. But in a way, it's like speaking to the crowd or preaching to the choir.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's, and I'm sure you guys probably mentioned this earlier when I wasn't here, but it's really difficult to, we have so many opinions, right? And this is why it's really important to get the feedback so we can kind of gauge, percentage wise, how many actually wanted this and how many people actually wanted that, and trying to implement it. Like most of the changes we did this year had a lot to do with the requests that happened on the first year, and so I'm looking forward to seeing, aside from obviously today this recording, the feedback that we get from the app. I'm really hoping that a lot of people did respond. We're going to be getting that as of next week. But yeah, anything and everything helps. I personally think that having something on regards to NIH and FDA changes really is important to do that. But in regards to finding somebody last minute that is in the know, that's a really hard dig. In regards to the diversity, I do think that ensuring we touch in on, because I personally feel that it is involved in almost every aspect of the site, perspective. And so, having been able to dig here and then bring it up as opposed to just having one session is more beneficial, because then it makes room for, like in this case, we did have some diversity at the end of the second day, but we were really trying to focus in on business development so that it would help sites overall gauge to move forward. And so really trying to see what works. I mean, definitely doing a survey probably before we start that process with creating the sessions, but I personally would like something that is way more interactive than just speakers and or one speaker. And even if we could probably do something to where it's, an actual session of just sitting around and getting partnered up with CROs and sponsors and some vendors and like talking about main pain points, things that are actually more personal, intuitive, so that you're actually dealing with the issue at hand, but at the same time, you're making a really close connection, right? Outside of just having to approach somebody or wait in line to approach somebody. So just trying to shake things up a little bit and see what would work best, or maybe just try new things. But thank you.
Yeah, and I think like to your point, I've been on the other side of things where we see these independent sites that have really great diversity, but then trying to convince the sponsor to try to use a new site or give them an opportunity and a new indication, like having kind of a workshop around that and like brainstorming, how do we get around that? Because I see that as like a huge barrier.
Yeah, for sure. I do think that topic was mentioned a little bit on one of the sessions, and that's also the other thing too. I know that a lot of people didn't get to make all the sessions because of all the great networking that was happening between, as Alec just mentioned, which is great that we recorded those sessions. So everybody, just an FYI, if you haven't already stated it, we are having these recordings. We're going to be having them, very, very soon, and be announcing all that very shortly. So I'm really happy. Great quality. Our media team, Daniel Rodriguez, and his team were awesome in their execution. So it's really good.
Nice. Okay. Well, thanks for coming on, Taya. I'm going to boot you off. We'll finish up here. Thank you. And thank you for coming. I mean, again, amazing. All right, guys, we're here just about at time. Any last words you guys want to kind of throw out there? This is just meant to be, fairly informal, not putting anybody on the spot here, but where are you going, Ashley?
I was going to say, but I see Monica. You go first, Moni.
No, me? No, I'm not.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I thought you got off my, yeah. So it was an amazing experience. I personally, like anything, was worried about if we could continue the energy, and it was quite obvious that we have what it takes, and we know our audience, and we want to make sure that they're constantly getting everything that they need. And so, for those that watch this right now or that will watch it later, please know that we're always open to hearing your feedback. If there's things that you're experiencing at the site level that you're not finding anywhere else, let us know, because that's the whole point. We're trying to bridge those gaps. We're trying to make things work and happen, and at the same time, create the new bar for all the other conferences. We want to ensure that everybody's keeping on their toes, always moving for change, always being productive, and putting the people that actually need to be put first. And to state about CROs and sponsors, we are not here to complain. We're here to collaborate. We're a community. And for you guys to move forward quicker, you have to also be there for the sites and hear what they have to say. So we invite you wholeheartedly, whether to sponsor or to attend, but we can't do this without you, and vice versa with the sites, right? So please reach out to us again at hello@saveoursites.com. Thanks, guys.
And to that point, sorry, Brad, less than a minute. I would like to mention that whoever that completes the survey in the app is going to get all the materials. So please make sure you complete it.
Yeah.
Nice. No, I like that. And I don't know. I feel like we have a unique opportunity because we all are site owners. We're all working. It isn't like a conference planning company. Like I feel like many of these conferences are. We're not really in it to make money, because we're sure as shit not making any money. But that provides a lot of ability to do things that are unlike, what other conferences are doing. So I hope we just continue to sort of lean into that as we go. And I think we are, because I do think people are responding to it, and it gives us, again, a sort of unique opportunity to actually do something different and have a different impact.
Yeah.
And we're not always going to get it right. We're not always going to be perfect, but I think it's fun. We've already seen it change, like from last year, and it'll probably change with everything that we do. But that's part of the fun, right? Like it doesn't have to ever be stale.
100%. We want to always keep raising that bar. I mean, me and Monica were having a call the other night, and I was just like, I already have ideas. So, exciting, exciting. We're excited. So we hope that is contagious for everybody else.
All right. Anybody else want to chime in before we cut off here?
And everybody said it good. Dan wrote that article about, are we in a sophomore slump? And then I replied, the industry is so screwed up that we have content for days. So as long as sites need help with something, like as long as sites need a way to save themselves, we're going to be in business, and we have no ulterior motives other than these are not like costumes we put on just for the conference. We're actually site owners. Like even during the conference, we're taking care of work for the site. So as long as there's problems to be solved for sites, we'll be there, and I think we'll be the most authentic conference of all of them for obvious reasons. And the minute that stops, we don't need to do a conference anymore. They're saved, but something tells me that's not happening for a while.
On regional meetups, we're going to be a link. We will be sharing that soon. Regional meetups, if you were not able to go to the conference, we will be in Orange County, California, Houston, Texas, and New York City. Dates will be released shortly. If you are a sponsor, CRO, or vendor that is interested in that, please reach out to us. All the information is on our website, and we hope to see you guys there.
We're going on tour.
Woo!
Yes.
Love it.
All right, guys. So I'm going to go ahead and kick us out here, and I'll be I have an interview tomorrow of the CEO of Science 37 on. So
nice.
make sure you
Very
guys
cool.
tune into that. Otherwise, thanks for coming on, guys. It was a good one. Take it easy.